This time it happened during the first period, Santa Fe texts, the day after a student went on a shooting rampage at a Texas high school. The Houston area community grappled with a horrific reality that age has unfolded in so many other places across the nation. On Friday morning, a 17-year-old student armed with a shotgun and a pistol stormed Santa Fe High School about 30 miles southeast of Houston and opened fire in an art class. Officials said the gunman killed 10 people and wounded 10 others, including a school resource officer who was left in critical condition, police said before surrendering to the officers who confronted him. Of those killed, 8 were students and 2 were teachers, Santa Fe Independent School District Superintendent Lee Wall said in a letter to parents. Our community has suffered a terrible tragedy, Wall wrote. We are all feeling the overwhelming grief of this horrific event. Late Saturday afternoon, officials identified those killed as teachers Glenda Perkins and Cynthia Tidsdale, and students Jared Black, Shanna Fisher, Christian Riley Garcia, Aaron Kyle McLeod, Angelique Ramirez, Sabika Sheik, Christopher Jake Stone and Kimberly Vaughn. Santa Fe H school became the latest scene of carnage in what has become a national epidemic of mass shootings. For the second time in the past 3 months, the victims were children and their teachers. The tragedy prompted an outpouring of grief and outrage. A candlelight vigil, statements of sympathy and anger from elected officials, heart-rending posts from relatives of the deceased as well as, for a quiet resignation that the previously unthinkable had morphed into an inevitability. It's been happening everywhere, one Santa Fe student, Paige Curry, said with a shrug after the shooting. I've always kind of felt like eventually it was going to happen here too. At Santa Fe High School, it happened with less than 2 weeks to go before the end of the school year. Isabel Lanes, 15, was in art class drawing geometric shapes when she heard gunshots Friday morning. She froze for a moment, then she ran to a back door leading to a patio, but it was locked. She and 7 others barricaded themselves in a supply closet that connected 2 art classrooms. She lay on the floor and called police, then called her mother, whispering "I love you" while holding a friend's hand. They shushed each other, hoping to avoid detection. The staggering toll of gun violence at school since Columbine, at least 139 killed, at least 277 injured. The trench-coat-clad gunman, police identified the suspect as student Demetrios Pagratzis Jr. He knew students were hiding in the supply closet. Isabel said, came into the first art classroom and began shooting. He said, surprise. And then he started shooting, and he killed 1 or 2 people. He shot through the window, she said, in the closet, and he shot a girl in the leg. We blocked the doors with ceramic makers, and he kept on trying to get in, and he kept on shooting inside the closet. She called police 3 times over the course of 30 terrifying minutes. A police dispatcher told her to be quiet and assured her help was on the way, she said. The gunman kept shooting, cursing and yelling. He shot a police officer who approached, then engaged other officers in discussion, offering to surrender. He kept saying, "NG, if I come out, dog shoot me." Take the idea and he shoot him. They just put him in handcuffs, she said. Pagratzis, whom students described as a quiet loner, is being held without bond at the Galveston County Jail, charged with capital murder and aggravated assault on a peace officer. It was unclear what motivated the attack, as authorities said it came without any obvious warning. Pagratzis made his first court appearance Friday evening, a little more than 10 hours after the massacre. He spoke quietly, saying, "Yes, sir," when asked if he wanted a court-appointed attorney after the brief hearing. Pagratzis was led away. Police said Pagratzis gave a statement admitting responsibility for the shooting. According to a probable cause affidavit filed in court, they said that Pagratzis told police that he went into the school wearing a trench coat and wielding 2 guns, intent on killing people. The affidavit states that the 17-year-old told police that he did not shoot students. He did so he could have his story told. The 2 guns used in the shooting belonged to Pagratzis' father, Greg Abbott, who said it was unclear if the father knew his son had taken them, according to Governor, unlike many other mass shootings carried out with high-powered rifles such as the AR-15, this one, authorities said, included relatively common weapons. Police said they also found explosive devices inside the school and at locations off campus. Authorities said they also were scrutinizing 2 other potential suspects in the shooting. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said officials questioned that another student described as a person of interest. Abbott said police also hope to speak with a third person who he said could have certain information. Here's what Parkland survivors are saying about the Santa Fe school shooting as families mourn. Stories of the victims have begun to emerge, though he did not elaborate. The Embassy of Pakistan confirmed Friday evening that she, a Pakistani exchange student, was killed in the attack. Our thoughts and prayers are with Sabaika's family and friends, Ambassador Azaz Ahmad Chaudhry said in a statement. Insurgents have waged war on education in her home country, but she died in a Texas school shooting. Another exchange student, Saeed Zaini Haider, said Sabaika was from Karachi City and was studying through the Kennedy Lugar Youth Exchange and Study Program. State Department's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs funded by the U.S. A spokesman for the Bureau did not immediately respond to a message seeking comment. Haider said she was about to return home. The academic year was ending, so she was almost done with her cultural exchange. She worked at the school frequently, her son Resi Tidsdale said. Tidsdale, 63, was a substitute teacher at Santa Fe High School. She started substitute teaching because she loved to help children. He said, she didn't have to do it. She did it because she loved it. Resi Tidsdale is a police detective in nearby League City. His mother lived in neighboring Dickinson with her husband of nearly 47 years, William Tidsdale. William Tidsdale said his wife had also been a paralegal for 22 years. The couple had 3 children and 11 grandchildren. She was a good woman, he said. She watched out for me. Less than 2 weeks ago, Garcia, 15, had posed amid what appeared to be a house undergoing construction. Next to scripture he had scrawled on the doorframe for what would be his new bedroom, according to his church. On Friday, he was killed in the attack. The church confirmed. Ramirez, another Santa Fe student who was gunned down in the shooting, was remembered as a kind, compassionate and caring teenager with a contagious smile, a family friend wrote in a GoFundMe. NDME set up for Angelique's family. Stone, 17, was also killed in the attack. His family confirmed to the Washington Post. A versatile football player, Chris also delighted in video games, hiking, jet skiing, parasailing and ziplining. They said, though he was youngest of 3 siblings, a trio known as the Three Stones, Chris protected his 2 older siblings with the ferocity of an older bro. He had a lot of heart, she said. Being a brother was his best job. Mercedes Stone, one of his sisters, said in a Facebook message, he was always there if someone needed someone to listen or some. Cheering up, definitely the life of the party and one of the most understanding, open-minded kids I know. Chris had just attended his junior prom a week ago, she added, with a Trump hat and a piss. Gold man shows up at school shooting scene to make America great again. 3 officers responded to the attack. Officials said the first to confront the shooter was school safety officer John Barnes, a retired Houston police officer who, according to a former colleague, Houston Police Captain Jim Dale, joined the Santa Fe Independent School District Police Force because he wanted a less stressful job. A second Santa Fe ISD officer arrived, pulled Barnes to safety and applied a tourniquet. Barnes was shot in both arms, Dale said. A third officer, a state trooper, also engaged the gunman. According to a state police official, Barnes was taken by helicopter to the trauma center at the University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston, where he was in danger of bleeding out when he arrived. Chief Medical Officer Gulshan Sharma told reporters. Dale said many officers descended upon the hospital to show their support and that the family is in good spirits after hearing from doctors that Barnes' injuries probably were not fatal. Officials have not yet provided a timeline showing how long it took to respond to the active shooter emergency calls, nor have they disclosed many details about it. The their interactions with the shooter. At a news conference Saturday, Santa Fe ISD Police Chief Walter Brown deferred most questions about the shooting to the FBI, which he said was leading the investigation. Police had been busy individually escorting Santa Fe students back on campus Saturday so they could retrieve cars and belongings they had left behind as they fled the school Friday, he said. Our officers have been very, very resilient, Brown told reporters. I don't think it's really sunk in yet as to allowing the emotions to take control. Santa Fe High School, home of the Indians, had won a statewide award for its safety program as an ominous precursor to Friday's shooting. The school had experienced a false alarm about an active shooter in February, an event that attracted a mass emergency response and the chaotic arrival of fearful parents. Many of the 1,400 students had staged a walkout April 20th as part of a nationwide school shootings protest, part of a grassroots move. Men among young Americans in the wake of the February massacre of 17 students and staffers at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. One sign carried by Santa Fe students during their April protest, "Never again." 4 Fridays later, their school was attacked. How do you make school safe? Voicemails from 300 students provide some answers. View graphic. How do you make school safe? Voicemails from 300 students provide some answers. Gage Slaughter, 17, said he was sitting in his advanced placement history class when the shooting started. When he heard the gunshots, he thought, as is so often the case in mass shootings, that it was just firecrackers. Then a coach and some teachers told the students to start running. Someone pulled a fire alarm, he said, and everyone went outside. There were people who were starting to cry, he said. I didn't know what was going on until I was down the road a little ways and I heard one of the teachers saying it was a school shooter. In the hours that followed, heavily armed officers in tactical gear surrounded the school. Authorities said they found explosives in the high school and in surrounding areas, and put out warnings on social media for people to avoid touching anything unfamiliar. Parents were picking up their children early from other schools in the area as they reeled from the horror that had come to their community. I just need to cuddle my baby girl, said Catherine Lindsay, a parent who lives nearby, and said she could hear the rescue helicopters from her home. Ever since Parkland, I've had to tell my 13-year-old daughter to not be a hero, to hide and stay safe with teacher if something like this happens, because she's the type who would try and talk the shooter down. This was the 16th school shooting so far this year, according to a Washington Post analysis. That's the highest number at this point in any year since 1999, the year of the Columbine High School massacre. The Post's analysis found that since 1999, shootings during school hours have killed at least 141 children, educators and other people, with another 284 injured. Among the injured was sophomore Rome Schubert, a pitcher on the school's baseball team, who said that a bullet grazed his head. I'm so grateful and blessed that God spared my life today, Schubert wrote in a tweet. Today I was shot in the back of the head, but I am completely okay and safe. On Friday night, students gathered at a vigil here wearing t-shirts made after Hurricane Harvey that read Texas Cup on the back. Indians got your back, Texas. Official says that fewer doors could mean fewer school shootings. We had experts weigh in the shooting immediately drew condemnation nationwide. President Trump quickly decried the Texas shooting. This has been going on too long in our country, too many years, too many decades now, Trump said in Washington. We grieve for the terrible loss of life and send our support and love to everyone affected by this absolutely horrific attack in Santa Fe. Senator Ted Cruz, our Tex, said, once again Texas has seen the face of evil. Late Friday, Houston Texans football star J.J. Watt offered to personally cover funeral costs for all of the victims from the Santa Fe shooting. In a fiery Facebook post, Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo wrote of his frustration over the lack of action on gun control legislation. After spending the day shedding tears of sadness, pain and anger, I know some have strong feelings about gun rights, but I want you to know I've hit rock bottom and I am not interested and your views as it pertains to this issue. Please do not post anything about guns aren't the problem and there's little we can do. Acevedo wrote, I will continue to speak up and will stand up for what my heart and my God commands me to do, and I assure you he hasn't instructed me to believe that gun rights are bestowed by him. In his jail booking photo on a Facebook page, Pagortsis had posted a photograph of a t-shirt saying Born to Kill, the governor said during a Friday news conference. Pagortsis, but Abbott said the suspect did not have a criminal record or show signs of being violent. The suspect wore a blank expression as if bored. He said that in this case there weren't the kind of red flags seen in other mass shootings such as the one last year at a church in Sutherland Springs, Texas, or the one in Parkland. To the students and faculty of Santa Fe High School, we are with you. March for Our Lives. pic.twitter.com/3dyxohmwsp. March for Our Lives at a March for Our Lives, May 18, 2018. Pagortsis had been a member of Santa Fe's junior varsity football team and had spent a lot of time in the weight room to get stronger. A teammate said he worked hard, even got stronger. And me, Ray Montemayor, 18, told the Post he would joke around but was also quiet, not an open book. Several teammates had been caught in the shooting, Montemayor said Saturday as he held up a photo of the football team from 2016. Among those were his friend Stone, who died, and at least 2 other football players who had been injured. He said it remained unclear Saturday if the gunman targeted certain students. The suspect documented his thoughts on his computer and cell phone, and the writings revealed not only that he intended to commit the shooting but also planned to commit suicide. He said the shooter didn't have the courage to follow through on a suicide. The governor said experts on mass shootings note that the killers study their predecessors, copy their moves, and even air fashion choices. The shooter at Santa Fe High appeared to copy elements of the Columbine massacre: a black trench coat, a shotgun, explosives. More than 30 shooters have copied the Columbine killers and admitted they'd done so, according to Adam Langford, a criminology professor at the University of Alabama. This seems like actually a more extreme version because of all of the different elements that seem to be copied, from clothing to weapons and modus operandi in terms of planting bombs. Langford said it's a form of celebrity worship. The celebrities in this case are celebrity killers. The Columbine killers' fake Facebook accounts and online lies multiply in hours after Santa Fe school shooting. Abbott said he will convene a roundtable of experts to discuss ways to stave off another school shooting, including speeding up background checks on gun buyers, putting more money into mental health treatment, and adding security personnel. Dan Patrick, R., said infrastructure is a problem. Schools have too many entrances and exits and need to be retrofitted. Governor Lieutenant, we may need to harden our schools and make them safer, Patrick said. Cable news and social media were dominated Friday by painfully familiar images of students being led out of the school by armed officers, survivors of the Parkland massacre and their relatives, many of whom had become outspoken advocates for stronger gun control laws, publicly offered support to the Santa Fe community and sent angry messages to politicians they said have not acted to avert such massacres. Berman, Achenbach, and Wang are reported from Washington. Christian Davenport and Stephanie Cousin in Santa Fe, Texas, and Debbie Trong, Ali Silverman, Whitney Leeming, William Wan, Julie Tate, Alice Kreitz, Jennifer Jenkins, Jen Johnson, Susan Sverluga, Emily Wax, Matt Zapatowski, Nick Anderson, and Abigail Hauslener in Washington contributed to this report. One of 37 full-screen autoplay closed skip at X the scene after a shooting in Texas. View photos. The shooting occurred at Santa Fe High School in Galveston County. Caption: the shooting occurred at Santa Fe High School in Galveston County, south of Houston. WP Volt Gal Pearl video width 100%, height 100%. Read more. Mass violence in the U.S. Jonathan Newton by photo. Wait 1 second to continue. Usually follows warning signs from attackers. Ripper. To find survivors recount the terror and chaos of the Las Vegas massacre. The sound of hymns drifted from the country church in Texas. Code Red. Despite preparations, no one was ready for what happened. At a Douglas High, then came gunfire.